Okay, hello everybody. This is the second session, and you have here Miss Rhonda, and this is for the fifth year course. And we talked the last session about the different kinds of regrets and how can I write a letter of apology. And I hope you finish writing that letter of apology. Today, we're gonna talk about the different milestones in your life. We talked about the different milestones before. We talked about the different milestones before, but we're gonna take a look at these important things that happened in your life and the meaning here of the word milestone. This is a turning point or an event that happened in your life that makes you grow up, or you feel that you accomplished something or accomplished a goal in your life. So we have different milestones, like for example buying your first car, passing your first exam, or getting your first certificate, or graduating, getting engaged and falling in love, and then after that getting married, and after that having your first baby. And then, which means that before you get married, of course, you're going to move into a new house and move out of your parents' house. So these are the different milestones we have in our lives. Let's try to take a minute to think about the different. We're gonna take a look here at a reading. Today we're gonna talk about the reading, but it is going to talk about the different milestones around the world, not just in my life. So here, before we read any article, we need to scan the article very quickly to get the main idea about the text, or to give you like a clear idea before getting into details, so you will know what you're reading ahead before you enter in details. So we have here different questions. With the first question, where does each milestone take place and who is each milestone for? Let's take a look at the reading and see. So let's start by taking a look here. We have the title, Milestone Around the World, and we have the two questions. And by taking a quick look here, we have three milestones and three countries. The first country, from looking very quickly at the picture, we can see that it is Egypt. And Egypt here, so we can guess the milestone here is, or the celebration is Isbu'a from the picture. That happened, this is a celebration that happens at the seventh day of the birth of the new baby. And so who is each milestone for? So this is probably, this is not, this is who for the baby, or the 7 days, 7 day baby. And the second part here we have, it's the country in Mexico. So we have the picture here. Let's try to take a look at the picture and see who is that celebration for, or who is that milestone for. This girl probably looked like a teenager, so we're thinking maybe 15 years old. So this is a thing or a celebration that Mexico celebrates, or Latin American countries celebrate. We're gonna take a look at details later. And here we have the third country, Vanuatu. This is, we have a milestone here. I'm not really sure here, but we're gonna talk about, this is like a man jumping from a tower which is made by wood, and he's jumping. So we're looking, maybe if we're gonna say maybe a teenager, if we're looking at the picture or judging by the picture. But before we read into details, now we scan the article, we know what each part is talking about. So before we read in details, let's take a look at some words or some vocabulary. The first word here we have is senses. So in order to get the meaning of any word, you need to read the sentence in it in order to guess it in its context, which give you a clear idea about the word in its context. So we have here, songs are sung and the baby is rocked gently to awaken its senses. So senses here means that our five senses, like smell and taste and hearing and watching or seeing. These are the five senses we all know. And we have the second word is scattered. Scattered here, let's try to read the sentence in order to guess its meaning. We have salt is scattered to keep evil away. And the mother, okay, that's it. So salt is scattered to keep the evil away. Scattered here means it, to move or to throw some salt in different places but in an unorganized way. And let's take a look at the second part. In Mexico we have a spectacular, wearing a spectacular dress and carrying a bouquet of flower. Spectacular here means something very impressive or very beautiful. And the second word here is multi-layered. Multi-layered, this is, you can see it in the picture. We have multi-layered. This means it has two or more layers, just like if we can give an example at the wedding cake of the bride and groom in their wedding. They are usually not one layer, they are multi-layered. So sometimes they are 3 or 4 layers of cakes. And in the third part we have here hurl themselves. So we're gonna take a look at the sentence. On a single island in the South Pacific nation of Vanuatu, young men hurl themselves from a 30-meter wooden tower. Hurl here, this means to throw themselves, just like you see in the pictures. He's jumping or throwing himself with only vines tied around their ankles. So vines here means that this is the stem or some kind of a rope that comes from different kinds of trees. We're gonna take a look at the picture here. And here the last word is demonstrate. After the jump she throws the item away to demonstrate that he is now a man. To demonstrate here has the meaning of to prove that he is a man. Let's move on. Okay, here we have the part of vocabulary. We're gonna take a look at the different kinds of vocabulary and their meanings if you didn't get it in the first part, and this is the part where you can read more or come back to it if you didn't get anything in the first slide. So here, this is the country of Vanuatu. This is the country or in different islands in the Pacific Ocean. This is its place on the map if you haven't seen it before. And we have here the vocabulary like we talked about. You can take a quick look at them. I'm gonna read them very quickly with you. So like we talked about, a scatter, this is spread or thrown in different places in an unorganized way. And then we have a spectacular, this means impressive or very beautiful. And then we have multi-layered, this has 2 or more layers or parts, just like we talked about the wedding cake. And hurl themselves, to throw something or somebody in a violent way. So he's trying to jump out of a tower. And demonstrate here, this is to prove. And vying, this is the part that we talked about. You have it here in the picture. This is comes from plant that it can be used as a rope. If you watch a Tarzan or any monkeys in the jungle, this is what they use to move from one tree to another. Move on. Here we have an exercise that we're going to match the word with its meanings after we talked about the meanings of each word. So I'm gonna answer the first one with you and you can answer the rest by yourselves. We have the first one, like we talked about senses. We said that these are the different senses or the 5 senses we all human have. So the answer here is gonna be D. We have the senses are sight, hearing, taste, touch and the smell. And for the other five words, you can answer them alone, and then if you have any problems or you're not sure or confused about anything, you can come back to the meanings and check it. Let's move on. Okay, now we're going to I want you to come back again to the reading text and read it again and answer these details. Answer these milestones. Here in this part we're going to read and check the correct milestone for each description. So I need you to go back again to the reading text or open your books in the unit that we are talking about and read it and then answer these questions. I'm gonna just quickly answer it with you. So the first part here, the person's family participates. So this is probably in the three things: الأسبوع and la quinceañera and land diving. So, and here there is a religious ceremony. Let's think, where is the religious ceremony? And number three, children carry candles. Number four, the event is dangerous. Number five, the event requires special clothing. Let's take a look at the answers. We have here the person's family participate. This is probably in all of them. We have in Subu, El Quinceañera, and the land diving. And number two, there is a religious ceremony. This is in La Quinceañera again. And children carry candles. This is in a Subua, and the event is dangerous, of course, land diving, because you jump from a tower. And the event requires special clothing. This is the Quinceañera again. And that's it. I hope you read the reading again and check if these things are in the right order. Move on. We're gonna talk about some expressions about regret, and we're going to use some expressions, or we call them some idioms, to express regret in other words. Instead of saying I regret doing that, there are other fun ways of saying that. So the first part is kick oneself, or to kick yourself. This means that you regret doing something, or so this means that you kick yourself because you did something wrong. So we have an example here. Lori is kicking herself for not buying that watch during the sale. So now she feels regret because after the sale the watch is very expensive and she couldn't buy it during the sale. So of course she's kicking herself. And number two here, don't cry over spilt milk. This is, I think, is a very popular idiom or a very popular expression that I think you've heard before, even in Arabic. So again, talks about don't worry about the things that is already done and start to move on. So we have an example here. I know you didn't mean to break my phone, so there is no use in crying over spilled milk now. So this is a very reasonable person, for a person who just his phone was broken and taking it very well. Take another expression. We have here eat your heart out. When you eat your heart out, this is again another way of saying you regret doing something or you feel guilty about something. So for example, my friends are eating their hearts out because they missed the trip to Paris. So they had a trip to Paris and they said no, we're not going, and now they are eating their hearts out. They feel guilty after their friends traveled and came back, and these seemed like they were having a lot of fun. And the last one, it burns someone up. This is when something burns you up, comes from fire. So with fire comes anger. So when you make someone angry, this is, you say this expression that something is burning you up. This means to make you angry. For example, here, I was really burned up by her comment about my favorite movie. So here we have an example that you have someone telling something or saying something about your favorite movie, and of course it's a negative comment that you don't accept it. That's why it is gonna burn you up or make you very angry. That's it for our session today. I hope you had a lot of fun, and I will see you again in other sessions, and thank you very much and have a nice day.